mojo. You remember the suit?
Oh, man, the suit, yes. And now that you say the suit, that reminds me that Clemente was 5'10", 175. When you see the suit.
See the size of
Yeah,
it.
and with some style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably the coolest suit ever, right?
So what's the story behind the suit? How do you get the suit at this museum?
The family put some things up for auction in Miami at the All-Star Game auction.
Yeah.
And the Pirates had a few pieces over at PNC Park, and they allowed us to have them here on exhibit for a week or so before they went to the auction.
Right.
And Franco Harris come walking in one morning, and we're like, Franco, check out this suit.
Right.
And he goes, what's that all about? And I tell him that it's going to go for auction. And I said, so are a bunch of things, and I need to buy the film and the negatives and some prints.
Right.
And he goes, Dwayne, we're going to get that suit. I'm going to write you a check for that
So
suit.
Franco Harris got this suit? Franco, of course he did.
Yeah.
Of course Franco Harris got the suit.
Because Clemente's wearing it here in Puerto Rico with Bob Prince in 1972.
Oh, yeah,
Franco
incredible.
makes the catch in 72, the Immaculate Reception, greatest play in NFL history.
That's right.
As Clemente,
that's right.
As Clemente's crashing, he's catching, he picks up the torch. And he's been here doing charitable work in Pittsburgh since 1972. Franco's amazing, and he loves it here.
Oh yeah, Franco's been a godsend to this city and all the people. That's amazing. You're right. Clemente passed the torch to Franco
Passed the
Harris.
torch right there.
What do you got here? Is that Javi Baez?
Yeah.
So Javi Baez is wearing the suit or the jacket.
Yeah, I put the
You think he
jacket
could've
on.
got in those
Yeah,
pants?
he
Probably
could. Then he could have.
Yeah.
Now he was here with the Tigers the other day, and they filmed him.
Yeah.
I put the jacket on him on video.
Yeah.
And he said, "I don't know if I can even fit the jacket." We got the jacket on him.
Right.
He's gained a pound or two.
Yeah.
But but it gave him some mojo when he put the jacket on after they win the World Series.
Yeah.
In
with the Cubs,
16.
16, yeah.
17. The whole team comes here. And he's taking a picture with his gray T-shirt, cool gray shoes, and I'm like, I see him lean in, and he's the same shoulder height as Roberto.
Wow.
And I said, and he's Puerto Rican. I said, would you want to put the suit on? And he teared up.
Did he really?
He got so emotional.
I got
and
the chills.
They're all filming video of him, and I take this picture, and then what happens is he got the mojo.
He started raking.
He started raking. He was hitting 500 after touching the suit. And Eduardo Perez picked it up and said, hey, he's been raking since he touched the suit. Can we borrow it for the All-Star game? So I said yes. And Coach Wilson and Josh Wilson take it down to the game.
Oh, wow.
And he puts it on, and he's talking about the museum. And the Topps photographer, that's his baseball card.
Oh, my gosh.
It's 2019.
It's 2019 Topps.
Yeah. How about that?
With the Clemente jacket on. That's incredible.
Graded a 10.
Graded a 10.
What else is more important than a 10?
Incredible.
So it went viral twice.
Wow, that's incredible. Is there anything else up in this room?
Oh.
This is pretty cool.
How about, I don't know
What else you got?
how about gold gloves?
You like gold gloves? How many did he have?
He wins 12 in a row, and there's 12 cubby holes here, and someday I'm going to have all 12 right here.
Wow.
So if you have one out there, call me.
We
I want to
need it.
get him here for an event.
Where did you get? Did Vera give you these?
Vera, so the 71 is on loan from the Clemente family.
Okay.
But the other two, we picked this one up at an auction. Jimmy Miller.
Wow.
Jimmy Miller, Dennis Miller's brother, got this one for us and got it here.
Wow.
Yeah. So to have a couple of his gold gloves. We have Willie Stargell's World Series trophy because Roberto's vanished. We don't know where Clemente was the MVP of the 71 World Series, and no one's ever seen his trophy. Wow. And he would have a full size, because when you're the MVP back then, you got a full size one.
Right.
Nobody knows where it is. So we're hoping it comes here someday too, somehow.
Yeah.
But we keep, adding little pieces in here. We got some Dapper Dan awards. We've got his MVP of the 71 World Series award up there.
Take us back to that really quick, because 71, the World Series, he dies
In 72.
in 72.
Yeah.
So he plays one more year. But that 71 World Series, when he was the MVP, he was 37, right?
Yep.
Wasn't it big for him? Wasn't there a little chip on his shoulder to say, hey, listen, people need to, because back then, if you're on the World Series, you're really showcased.
Yeah.
People, they get a chance to really see you play.
Yep.
I heard Roberto in that World Series was like, I'm going to show you who Roberto Clemente is.
Yes. And it's because Pittsburgh's a small market.
Right.
There'd be some times where there'd be one camera on a game here. He'd do something incredible. Nobody
knows about it. Yeah.
And so it's crickets, right?
Yeah.
Well, now it's 71 World Series, Baltimore against those guys, the four aces, 20-game winners.
That's right.
Frank Robinson, Brooks Robinson, Boo Powell. Right. So he goes, I'm going to go down and show them who I am.
Oh,
and they say that it could be the greatest performance ever in a World Series.
Wow.
He hits in all 7 games, homers, doubles. He wins a couple games by himself. I mean, he was the man. So now the whole world's watching, and that's how we've got probably 50-60% of all our Clemente fanatics that come here are from all over the country, all over the world.
Right.
And they saw him play in a 71 World Series, and then they became fans because you saw that guy just killing it.
Right.
And they became, fans. He's the MVP. He gets the orange Charger that was already painted for a Baltimore Oriole. It was Baltimore Oriole orange.
Right.
But he's the
They gave it to
MVP,
Clemente.
and they're like, wait a minute, wait.
Do you know what he did with that? With that car?
Yeah, we've had it here for 3 weeks.
Really?
Yeah.
Who has it?
So right now it's owned by a guy in Daytona Beach, Florida. His name's Randy Dye. He's a Pittsburgher that moved down there and got into Chrysler dealership.
Right.
And so came here, we talked about the car, and then the family put it up for auction in Miami.
Wow.
And he bought it and he restored it, and he allows us to have it here once in a while for an event.
That's really cool.
And it's gorgeous.
That's
it's a
awesome.
440 Magnum motor. I tell people you can open up the hood on that Charger and you can put a Mini Cooper right inside. It's freaking hood's like 8 feet long. I mean, it's amazing.
That's incredible.
And it was here one year when the Washington Nationals brought the team bus and 30 guys came, and that's when Harper was on the Nats.
Oh yeah.
Davey Martinez brought the crew over.
I'm sure, because one thing I love about Bryce Harper is he's a historian of the game. His dad has passed that down to him. He knows so much. I'm sure he loved this place because of the history of Clemente.
Yeah.
But you've had a lot of different guys come here, and you have it, documented upstairs of all the guys that have come. I'd love to go upstairs and see, and we could talk a little bit about some of the guys that have come here.
Okay, let's go take a look.
All right, now we're up in the bunkhouse. This is where Lou Gehrig slept that night, 1927, right?
Right here.
Why wouldn't you want to sleep here? It's like a nice suite. It's like a Westin suite up here.
Yeah.
So we were talking about Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
I see him here. Take us through who's been here, Dwayne. This is such a cool thing. This is so Dwayne Reeder. I mean, this guy is the ultimate artist. And this is an American flag that you created, obviously, with these balls. Can you take us through some of the players that have been here?
Yeah. Well, after it taking a year to make, it took me a year to paint the balls. I painted all the red balls and blue balls, and baseballs aren't cheap.
Right.
This cost me a small fortune. Yeah. So then I thought, a guy gave me this table. I thought, I'm going to make a cool piece of art out of it and put it in this table. And then Albert Pujols rolls in here, opening day of 2007.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And he's my first.
And who brings him in here?
Roberto Jr. brought him over.
Roberto Jr. brings him.
Yeah. And so he came, I asked him to sign a ball, and I told him it'll stay here forever. And then he gets traded shortly after that from the Cardinals to the Angels. I got him on a red ball with the Angels. And then last year he came with the Dodgers with Dave Roberts and Will Smith, and he signed a blue one for Dodgers, and now back to the Cardinals.
Yeah.
So pretty cool. And so we've been lucky, and there's Harper right here. There's the Posada, Pujols, and then it goes Giancarlo Stanton, Judge. We got
Judge.
Judge.
That's the most recent one.
Yeah, so that's a fresh one right there.
Awesome.
That's a fresh one. Yeah, and then Machado.
Pete
Alonso, my man.
And Alonso loves this place. Huh?
Yeah, we're going to get him the Clemente Award next year because he does so much for charity. I told him we're going to team up, the three of us, and get him the Clemente Award.
Awesome.
Get him to the top. And Nick Castellanos, really nice kid.
Nick's great.
Nick's the best. Hosmer. We got Clayton Kershaw came here in his rookie year. I wasn't even going to ask him to sign a baseball. I didn't even know who he was. He was just some kid.
Really?
Yeah, they tagged along with a couple the other guys.
I knew who he was because that year in the spring training in 2008, I was the first big leaguer Clayton Kershaw ever faced. I remember going out there and I asked Terry Francona, hey, who's this guy? Some rookie off the backfield. I believe he was number 98. I go out there, Dwayne, 98 outside black, hook, see you later. Right? And I look over at Joe Torre and Larry Bow, and they're giggling. They obviously know something I don't know. I'm like, oh my gosh, who's this kid? He comes up when you signed this autograph for you, starts dominating the big leagues, and I'm like, feel so much better about myself.
Yeah.
I didn't know, it was my last year in the big leagues. This kid's 19.
And was he doing that crazy?
Dude, double pumping, double clutching. I'm like, that kid's going to be unbelievable. Turns out one of the greatest lefties of all time.
Of all time.
Incredible.
The man. Yeah, so I'm lucky he signed something.
So you got Rizzo too, Anthony Rizzo.
Yeah, Rizzo.
Vern Law, Mazeroski.
These are all those.
So many great guys.
Yeah.
So, but the one night, we had Ed Vedder come in the one night when Pearl Jam played in 2013. We had dinner. I got Bill Mazeroski to come in. Jason Grilli came down.
Yep.
Jeff Ament came in, who was the bassist for Pearl Jam.
Yep.
And then Steve Blass
Blass
told
was
some
here.
unbelievable stories.
Yeah.
You, and then, it was just such a wonderful night. George Webb came in.
George Webb was here,
Such a
yeah.
great night. And we presented Ed with
The helmet,
with
the
the
batting
helmet.
helmet.
Right, the batting helmet from Roberto Clemente back in like 1970.
You got it for him as a
Yeah,
gift.
incredible, man. Still one of his favorite things that he has
Yeah.
to this day. But take us through this row right here. Looks like a pretty interesting row.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
see Bruno Sammartino, who's
Bruno.
a big wrestler. He's a WWF champion back then.
Bruno bought a barrel of wine here, and we used to come and sit and drink down in the cellar, and was just the nicest guy in the world. And when he grabbed your hand with those meat hooks, you're just like, holy cow. And he was incredible. And then, so we got Eddie Vedder, we got Eddie Palmieri,
Yep.
Smokey Robinson, had him here 5 times. What a beautiful person, loves baseball. Ben Folds, Huey Lewis.
Huey Lewis came. When did he come?
Huey Lewis was just here because he's doing this
He was?
documentary film on saving the wetlands out in the middle of the country, and did a beautiful job. Yeah, he's great because he's down in the cellar. We do a dinner for him downstairs, and we're going to go there in a minute.
Yeah.
And he's sitting and he's talking. He goes, "Well, you built this damn shrine to Eddie Vedder here. If he wasn't the nicest guy in the world, I'd be pissed at you." He goes, "You're going to build a shrine for me?" He goes, "I'll send you a couple of gold albums." And I'm like, "Oh God, that's so
I
funny."
want a new drug. One that won't make me sick. Remember, that's great. There's so many good songs.
You look him up,
Huey
how
Lewis.
many hits he
Huey Lewis
had.
in the news was the best.
Yeah, he
Love
was the
Huey
man.
Lewis.
And he loves baseball. He loves
Yeah.
the Giants. He's a Giants
Yes.
fan. Tom Morello.
Tom Morello, what a great story that is. So I called Ed and I said, "Hey, Bruce Springsteen's in town, and Morello at the time was playing with the Boss." So I called Ed and I said, "Hey, man, Tom's a big baseball fan, as is a lot of the guys in that band." And Ed called them to say, "Why don't you guys go to the Clemente Museum?" We met up with them afterwards at the hotel, and then we came here and we were here really late. I think we were here like 3 a.m. Sorry
Morello
for keeping you up.
No, but he came in with he had a Chicago Cubs hat on. And he come in and he was real low key, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, who's this guy, right? I don't even ask him to sign the baseball because I didn't even know who he was.
Yeah.
And so you said his name, but it didn't mean anything. It just didn't
Rage
register
Against
to
the
me.
Machine.
Yeah. So I text my nephew and he goes, "Hey, dumbass, he's only like the greatest guitar
Guitarist
player in
ever,
America."
yeah.
I'm like, I better get him to sign a baseball. And now he loves this place and he wears our shirt just like Ed, and
that's
we'll
great,
wear a
man.
hat. And
So cool.
Awesome.
Well, it's funny because the 21, when you watch Pearl Jam, 21 shirt, that's a Clemente shirt. I don't know if people
A lot
know
of
that.
people
You
don't
watch
put it
Pearl Jam.
together.
Right. So.
Yeah, but the word is out now.
Well, we
Ed
just
helped
went
us.
and saw him at Madison Square Garden and saw Pearl Jam, and a ton of people in the crowd are wearing that 21 jersey. So it's pretty cool.
Well, what I do now is I tell people, if Ed sees them, sometimes he'll call them out. He'll
Really?
ask where you're from. He'll throw them a tambourine or he'll give them a playlist or something. So I said, wear it and get to the front, and Ed might take care of you.
Yeah. Well, you know what's cool about Ed? He's a historian. He loves the game. The game has given him a lot. Jose Cardinal, all the
that's
Cubs,
his guy.
all those guys. Jose Cardinal just went into the Cubs Hall of Fame. So like when Ed came here, I got the chills.
Yeah.
When he put that helmet on, out there when they played here in Pittsburgh in 2013 and sang Yellow Ledbetter, and with that helmet on, incredible stuff.
Yeah, you and I were crying.
Yeah, that was awesome. So who else do we got? Wu-Tang Clan.
Wu-Tang, yeah. How about that?
Is that the RZA?
Yeah,
The RZA.
RZA.
Steve Carell.
5 hours, baseball nut, loved it here, drank some wine.
So great.
Benicio del Toro.
Wow,
Puerto
Benicio
Rican,
del Toro.
was from
Yeah, well, he must have
Santurce,
been
where
so-
we're going. We're going to talk about Santurce Crappers.
He must have been
He's
so
from
excited.
there.
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton.
I mean,
Good.
huge Pittsburgh guy.
Does it get any better than
Loves
Michael? Bob Costas.
Bob Costas. Bob's
Historian
the
of
best.
all
Yes.
historians. Is there
Kidding.
anybody that knows any more than Bob Costas?
No, I work with Bob. It's
Yeah,
incredible. It's incredible.
nobody.
It's incredible.
Yeah, so I've been lucky. Jimmy Leland, your buddy, Jimmy Leland.
Jimmy Leland, the best.
Yeah.
The best.
Tony Dungy wore number 21 when he played
Dungy,
for the
yeah.
Steelers because of Roberto
Oh,
Clemente.
did he really? Wow, that's incredible.
And he said he would go and hang out with the Pirates because he said Chuck Noll's locker room was so kind of uptight and quiet.
Right.
He'd go hang over with
And
Clemente,
they'd be partying.
Stargell, and Doc Ellis.
Oh my God, they're partying over there.
Yeah.
Also do Sid Crosby.
Sid Crosby.
Pretty cool.
Good kid, yeah.
Dusty Baker. Still
Dusty.
big. Orlando Cepeda. who was good.
My
good
first
friends-
tour for
who was
opening in
good friends
2000.
with Clemente, right?
They were tight. So can you imagine? There was my first tour. Orlando Cepeda, Juan
Juan
Marichal.
Marichal.
And I had to give them a tour about their friend. And I was shaking.
Oh, dude,
I was
chilling out
shaking,
right now.
and it was
It's
like,
incredible.
but it was awesome. Those are two good guys, and they're both wine guys because they played for the Giants and lived in Napa Valley. So I poured them the Dago Red downstairs, and they were like,
so thankful for that. So great. What's the story? Well, we'll talk about that in a second. remind me to talk about the Clemente red wine story.
oh yeah,
No, what? It's in the picture over here.
yeah.
Let's
It's over here.
Let's tell
Come on,
the
let's
story.
go.
Let's tell the story right now.
Okay. Yeah.
Because this is really cool. I'm coming here all these years. You just told this story recently. We're going to go down to your winery in a second, which is downstairs in the bottom of this place. But can you talk about Clemente and red wine, which is even crazier that you make the greatest red wine around? I mean, you know, you got to get. We'll have to talk about how people can get your wine too.
Yeah.
You make the greatest red wine, but Clemente only drink red wine, right?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. And I get to find out when I put these photos on the wall for an exhibit, and Vera comes on a tour, and we get right here, and we're looking at these photos, and she's loving them because, you know, Manny's half naked, and, they're in the locker room, and these are behind the scenes stuff. Everybody sees the sports stuff. But here's Roberto the man behind the scenes, and she goes, Dwayne, you know Roberto, he only drank the homemade red wine. I mean, I almost pass out. I'm like, Vera, I've been sending you wine to Puerto Rico for 10 years. You never told me that story. She goes, I never thought about it till I saw this photo. And I'm like, no, he's got champagne or something in that glass. She goes, look between his fingers. I never even paid attention to it. There he is. There's the winemaker, Tony Bartolo.
And that was his friend, right? Tell us about that story, the relationship with him.
Well, when Roberto gets here in the 50s, there's no Puerto Ricans here.
Right. Pittsburgh, 1950.
The Italians take him in. The Italians, Tony Bartolo takes him home to the Hill District, to his father's house where he made wine. And you go to Italian dinner, you sit and you eat everything they put in front of you, and you drink the wine, or else you get that knife. Right? So Roberto's probably shaking, and he really wasn't a drinker.
Right.
But they were like, come on, you got to drink the wine. And so he had a little, and he started liking it. And then I get to meet Tony. Once Vera tells me the story, I get on a plane with a couple bottles of Clemente Cabernet and flew to Bradenton, Florida, where Tony was living. He's passed now.
And did he tell you any stories about Roberto?
Yeah. So I go to Tony. First of all, he sees the Clemente Cabernet has the angel wings photo on it. He almost had a stroke when he saw that. And I tell him I'm running a museum in Pittsburgh, and I'm friends with the family. And Vera tells me the story, and she said, "Yeah." He goes, "That's right, Dwayne. My father and I made wine at our house in the Hill District. Roberto would come for dinner. We'd drink the Dago red wine, that's what they called it, and I'm half Italian, so I'm allowed to say
right, you're allowed
Dago.
To, right.
So they would drink the Dago red wine, very simple, kind of, you know, the plowman's lunch of wines. It's real, you know, earthy, and it was, you know, kind of cheaper grapes that could be shipped from California here back on a train back in the day. And they started, all the Italians started doing it during Prohibition. So they became, you know, good at making the wine. Roberto starts liking it. And I was like, wow, that's amazing. You guys would have some, you know, some wine after a game or something like that. He goes, and once in a while in the locker room. And I'm like, wait, whoa, Tony, no. He goes, yeah, once in a while he'd come in and say, Tony, give me 2-finger little hit. He goes, then he'd go rap out a triple. It was just like, oh my God, Tony, that's the best story I've ever heard.
That's so great.
So then, it's now the 40th year anniversary of the 71 World Series, which we just had the 50. Tony got on a plane and came up here for this anniversary and came here on a tour, and then we sat and he told me some more stories. So it's all been confirmed. He made the wine for Roberto. Roberto's Puerto Rican. He didn't drink rum. He wouldn't go drinking with the guys and drink beer. He didn't want to go to a bar and drink beer. It just wasn't his cup of tea. You know, so he would have a little red wine just to be social, just a little tiny bit.
That's incredible.
And now I'm good friends with Luis Mayorel. He goes, I got red wine in my paper cup. He goes, Jose Pagan, red wine. There they are. Then the judge.
So who's Luis?
Luis Mayorel was one of Roberto's best friends. He's Puerto Rican. He traveled with Roberto, and they were planning Sports City. They're planning Roberto's dream of building the sports complex in Puerto Rico, and he's dictating all Roberto's thoughts and notes. And he's going to help him draw it out and map out how they're going to do it. And then he dies, and Roberto dies. And so they don't ever get to start it. Vera starts Sports City in Puerto Rico with help of the Pittsburgh Pirates, and Pittsburghers did a fundraiser here at Heinz Hall, and Mrs. Heinz gave money. Richard Nixon. Richard Nixon writes the first check for $1,000
Oh my
from his personal account, not the White House account.
That's incredible.
Pretty cool.
That's incredible.
So to learn this, to have this photo, to learn that, get that story from Vera and Tony before they passed, is the real story.
That's awesome. That's awesome. One other part of this room that I absolutely love is the winter ball. I mean, a lot of guys go home. A lot of Latinos, when they go home, and whether you're in Dominican, Venezuela, or Puerto Rico, they go home and play for the hometown team.
Yep.
I almost think for these guys, this is the big leagues for them. So when Roberto goes back to Puerto Rico to play at Santurce and to play at San Juan, right? Could talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he played winter ball his whole career, his whole life in Puerto Rico. He's playing.
Right.
He signs a contract. We have his first contract ever, 52, 53. He's a rookie in 55 for the Pirates, but he starts playing with Santurce Crabbers in 52, 53, and plays next to Willie Mays.
Wow!
Can you imagine that?
So
Willie's a couple years older than him.
Is Willie a big leaguer yet, or is he still?
Yeah, he's Rookie of the Year in 52.
Okay.
Yeah, if you look up Willie, he's just a little older than Roberto.
Incredible.
And they're paying him $40 a week. $40 a week. But that's something back then.
Yeah, right.
You know, it's better than making $10 a week in the sugarcane fields where he was working for his father. So that's definitely better.
Okay.
So this is incredible, and it was at the Smithsonian. They have Latinos in baseball show at the Smithsonian right now.
Wow.
They had my jersey. Here's the last jersey he ever touches. So after he gets his 3,000th hit in Pittsburgh, he goes back and plays and manages for the San Juan Senators.
Oh, wow.
So this is one of the last photos. This is taken a couple of days before the flight to Nicaragua. So I have the last jersey he ever touched, and it's photo matched. I have
Where did you get this? Where did you get this?
That's been all around the planet. It left the island probably in the late 80s. I meet a guy that thinks it's maybe a fake, and basically gives it to me. And it's because back in those days, they needed to have a sponsor on the back of the team. They couldn't afford to have the player's name. And so the guy's like, well, this should say Clemente. Nope, it actually should say Bacardi Rum was the sponsor in 72. And if you hold it up to the sunlight, it says Bacardi Rum on it.
My gosh.
The year before it was India Beer, so they always had a new sponsor each year, so they would take the letters off.
Wow.
So he thought this was fake. Well, I can tell you one thing, no one on the island's wearing 21. No one on Roberto's team's gonna wear 21, but him. And so we have it now documented. We have a photo match to Roberto wearing that.
That was it.
Yeah, so this is a really, really cool piece. But nothing's better than this story right here.
Yeah, how about this story? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so this contract right here is the Pittsburgh Pirates paying him $20,000 to not play for the San Juan Senators. Wow. He's allowed to manage the team and not play, right? In 70, 71, 72, we're duking it out with the Big Red Machine, and we're trying to get to the World Series all 3 of those years. Yeah. They're paying him $20,000 to be the manager, to not go down there and twist his ankle or throw out his arm.
Yeah.
And so he does. He doesn't play in the regular season. I just learned a story from my buddy Jorge Lopez, who came here a couple of days ago and said that he played in the playoffs in 72.
He did. He's like, listen,
he snuck in a couple of games. We got to win. And I think it was against Santurce. And if you talk, there's like Reggie Jackson's on that team. If you look up the two rosters for those two teams, they're half, guys that are playing in the big leagues.
Right.
It's amazing, because on this team, there's Manny Sanguillen.
Oh, yeah.
Dave Cash.
Oh, yeah.
Freddie Patek.
Wow.
Neil Walker's dad.
Tom Walker.
Tom Walker, I believe, is right there.
Yeah. The story of Tom Walker almost boarding that flight. I mean, we know that's
amazing.
Incredible.
It's amazing. So this is pretty cool to have, some of this stuff of what he's doing at home in Puerto Rico when the season's over.
That's awesome. That's
pretty
awesome.
neat.
All right. I mean, we talked about this. Is first off, Dwayne, thank you so much for having this. Is incredible.
Yeah.
We talked about that red wine right there, and we were talking about how you make some of the greatest wine in the world.
Yeah.
Let's go downstairs and take a look at.
Let's go down.
What that's all about.
Perfect.
All right, now we're down in, I think, one of the coolest rooms around. I mean, this place is so cool, everything, but this is a place where you make your own wine. There's a winery down here. So many great stories. One of the stories is, this is where we came down. We brought Ed, and Steve Blass and Jeff Amen, Maz, and it was just an unbelievable dinner.
Right here.
Big dinner here.
Boom.
We had a private chef come in and cook us some steaks, some risotto.
Yeah.
What a great night.
It's a hell of a night.
What a great night that was. But tell us about, before we even get into the wine stuff. I mean,
Yeah,
this is kind of,
yeah.
This is, you've married the Clemente Museum with your love of wine
Yeah.
to really support this place, right?
Yeah.
To keep this place going. You can buy
Yeah.
a barrel,
Yeah, we started a club called Clemente Society.
yeah.
And you can buy a barrel of wine, which then you get your own label, you can pick your varietal of wine, and the check is written to the Clemente Museum, which is a 501c3, so you get a little tax break.
Great. I've written that check
3 times,
Thank
you
you,
remember
man.
3 times
Yeah,
over.
coming back in, too.
Yeah, you and Carlos Beltran, 3 each.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we've had, Ed's got a barrel now, so Ed, you hooked me up with Ed, and he bought a barrel because he came and
Well, Ed
loved
loves
the
your
wine.
wine.
He loves wine and baseball other than music. Those are his 2 loves. And so now when the guys come, I try to get ahead of it. We never know who's coming and who's not coming when the team's coming over, so the Yankees are in town. Jameson Tyon, hits me up and says, hey, I'm going to come. We're going to have some pizza and wine. Get your pizza maker. And I don't know who's here till they're in the parking lot. And he says, Rizzo and Judge and Garrett Cole, they're all on the bus. They all came. And Judge walks in and he sees that baby. Wow. And I made 2 of them, and they're sitting there on the table. And he goes, wait, whoa, where'd those come from? And I was like, well, I made them today. There's one for you, and there's one for me if you sign one for the museum. So when he walked out of here that night, he was carrying, it was like his little baby.
Yeah, it's so great.
So it's pretty neat.
It is such a cool perk to have your name on a bottle of wine.
And if you like wine and it's good, and so they tasted, we went through all our Cabernets, and Garrett Cole and Tyon are wine snobs.
Yes.
They spend all their off time drinking good wines. So I opened my 17 Cabernet, my 18 Cabernet, my 16, then the Rizzo, which was 14. But then we went to the Holy Grail, the Cervelli Cabernet, which is my best wine. It's 2013. It was made in these Hungarian oak barrels, which Les Banos, Clemente's best friend, the photographer, was Hungarian and has all these tie-ins. Cool. And it made this magic wine that tastes like Cardinal, the very famous wine in Napa Valley. And so we had that in a decanter, and they were all like, woo, what's that? And I was like, that's the Mac Daddy. And Garrett Cole said, pour it. So I just started pouring everybody some, and it was silence. They were all just like,
so good.
You made this? And I'm like, yeah, I made it right here. Awesome. But I tell people it's Clemente and the big guy upstairs making the wine good, so we can keep the Clemente Museum going by getting the Clemente Society kind of cruising. And so
great.
I just move the wine around. I don't, I'm a photographer. What do I know about making wine? But someone's making these wines good, and I think it's from upstairs.
I think you're making them good, dude.
Well,
it's a combination.
I help. And Pujols joined our club. He doesn't even drink.
Yeah.
And he bought 2 barrels just to support his charity.
Oh, that's great.
And so it's a very charitable thing. And I've got 5 Clemente Award recipients in our club.
Oh, that's great.
We made wine for Derek Jeter.
Yeah.
Rizzo won the Clemente Award. The wine helped him win the award. He deserved it 100%. But the wine, it makes a nice piece for them to sign. This in an auction right now, that's probably $5,000.
Oh, easily.
Right? The wine can compound from a $100 bottle to a couple $1,000.
That's awesome.
So it's pretty neat.
That is really cool.
And then once in a while they'll bring me a bat, sign a ball.
How did you get the game used judge bat?
Well, I let them swing that. I let them swing that 38 ouncer on the field. So I let them swing the bats.
Oh, okay.
Jack Marucci would make them for me.
Well, Victus is also Marucci.
Oh, really?
Marucci bought Victus.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They own Victus. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So he hands me that bat after hitting Clemente's 38 ouncer.
Wow, that's cool.
And he goes, hey, Dwayne, I hit 10 bombs with that bat.
Is that what he said?
That's from this year. 10 bombs from this year.
That's awesome.
And I said, no, I'm not asking you for that bat. I'm not asking for old Betsy.
Yeah.
I just wanted a bat that you hit in batting practice. He goes, no, I want you to have a good one.
Wow, so he hit 10
10 bombs with that bat. Harold Reynolds goes, why would you ever give that bat up? He hit 10 bombs with it.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And then Albert, I was telling you the story where he swings Clemente's bat, gets a little extra mojo, hits 2 in the river, and then Sunday he gave this to me.
Wow.
So
that's that home run. Is that he hit home runs like 695, 696?
No, back before that, the time before that they came, which
but
that's
the bat. He hit
2 to set the record for the oldest player in MLB history to hit 2 homers in a game.
That's incredible. I love how he put the 3-time MVP, 2,000 ribbies, 3,600 homers. Is that good? Those are good numbers?
Yeah.
Can we take a look?
Let's go see Rizzo's barrels right here.
So you got some of the barrels here. You got Rizzo's barrel. Pete Alonso has a
Pete
barrel.
Alonso.
Pretty cool.
Loves wine.
Yeah.
He honeymooned in Italy, and he really got into these Chianti wines, and I make a nice Chianti, and so I'm making him a special wine. Franco Harris has bought 2 barrels. He's trying to catch you.
Yeah.
Mario bought my first barrel ever. Right, we got the Pittsburgh legends, Clemente, Lemieux, and Harris. Doesn't get any better than that. Ichiro, the coolest thing of my life.
Did you buy one?
The Florida Marlins starting 9, Giancarlo Stanton, Yelich, Riamuto, they all chipped together and bought him a barrel for getting his 3,000.
Oh, that's so cool.
3,000, yeah.
That's awesome.
So that's cool. Josh Bell, you know, Angel. He's an unbelievable person. Yasmani Grandel, Cervelli, Yachty. I've got some good guys in the club, so it's pretty cool.
Awesome. Yeah, let's go look at another part of this place. It's really cool.
Yeah.
We a lot of history here too, man. A lot of history in this room. Such a cool space. So here we are. We're going to finish it off, Dwayne. This used to be your old, right, photography, dark room for photography, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then you decided to make it the cigar lounge.
Well, it had ventilation, so I used to have a big sink here with a hood and ventilation for the chemicals.
Yeah.
And I was ripping it out to make it a wine room, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait a minute. Franco Harris and Mario Lemieux both said, hey, where can we smoke a cigar one day? And I'm like, I don't need another project, but I thought, and I don't smoke, but I thought, hey, the guys, you know, once in a while want to smoke a cigar. So I started putting this together, and now it gives me a good place to put some of my Pearl Jam posters. And
that picture right there is pretty cool too, of Ed and Bill Mazeroski. Ed, we were smoking cigars in this room, and Ed Maz, you know, Ed had a Maz helmet that for years.
Pulled it out of his backpack. And Maz was like, what the hell?
Yeah, what an unbelievable night. I mean, this is an unbelievable place, and I think the celebration of this place, Dwayne, the celebration of the Clemente Museum, what you've done for all these years, how you keep it going with the Clemente Society, and, you know, keeping Roberto Clemente's legacy going here in Pittsburgh. You know, I know it's huge for, you know, everyone here, but also all the Latino community and what he means really worldwide and who he was as a man. So
people will come here from Puerto Rico, and I'm like, oh, you're here for the game? No, we came here just to see this. I'm like, oh, you got to catch a game at PNC Park. And sometimes they'll do and go, you know, it's easy to get tickets, so they'll pop down to the park. But a lot of Puerto Ricans will come here just to see the museum. That's pretty amazing.
Well, it's a special place. It's a special place. How can people get involved here? How can we support?
Yeah.
How can our listeners and all the listeners out there support you and the Roberto Clemente Museum?
Yeah, I mean, I would just go to our website, clementemuseum.com, you know, and take a look and scroll around. It's a pretty cool site too. You know, buy some merchandise. You can, you know, there's a area where you can click on a link to get to, I think it's called Mobile Cause, where you can actually make a donation. You know, we tell people, if you just donate $21, I want to start a movement in baseball. If we can get every baseball player just to donate us $21. We're not asking for giant money from any one person, but I think if there's so many Clemente people and so many people that love this guy, if we all just gave $21, we could build our elevator. For sure. It could be small money. We don't
$21.
$21.
$21. And we can get that elevator built, and we can keep this place going and keep Roberto's legacy going on.
Yeah, we want to keep it alive. Keep the candle burning.
Keep the candle burning, brother.
Yeah,
you are a great
you.
friend. I love you, man, and I'm very grateful to be here and looking forward to our relationship as the years come on. And happy to have you inside the mayor's office, man. This is probably a big one for you.
Yeah, you can start doing all your shows right here. This should be the mayor's office.
All our shows from the Clemente Museum. So, all right, brother. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Yep.
Oh my God, Sean! First of all, again, I've been thanking Sean for like 3 days for this brilliant idea that he did, and this is how much effort he puts into the show and how much he cares about you fans and how much he cares about what he does. And first of all, amazing interview. I don't even know where to begin. And again, Sean mentioned at the top, you got to watch this on YouTube. The propeller of the plane from Roberto Clemente. Just take a case. Like, what was this experience
just
like for
incredible. You? Yeah, man. I mean, I hope everyone enjoyed that as much as I enjoyed doing it. the stories that Dwayne has, the history from Clemente, you know, that propeller of the plane, the picture that he has with the angel wings in the background, the winery downstairs, the stories of, you know, Ed Vedder and you know, the Aaron Judges of the world and Tom Morello's and Steve Carell's, all those guys. Just the stories are incredible. The place is legendary. And like I said, if you ever come to Pittsburgh, take the time to go out to Roberto Clemente Museum. It is a one-of-a-kind place where the history of Roberto Clemente lives. And not only that, just so much of the history of baseball. So Chinch, it was a great time, bro. I wish you were with me when you come to Pittsburgh, brother. It's the first place we're going.
Absolutely.
We're going to go out there and have a great time, man.
And retire his number fucking already, right? Retire his number.
Well, I think that's where they're people are trying to move in that direction to retire 21. So then my number would be retired too. So let's go.
Let's go, Case. Amazing job. This is how much this guy loves you guys and your fans, and how passionate he is about bringing this kind of stuff to you. So Sean, I got to say thank you. When you thought of this idea, I was like, man, this is unbelievable, and I hope you folks at home appreciate how much we appreciate it, and I'm so thankful for this, buddy. So everybody, like and subscribe, do your thing, subscribe,
subscribe, download, tell your friends, all that stuff. Let's keep growing, everybody. Mayor's office bringing you the best guests and the best on location stuff ever. We'll see you guys next week. See you, Chance. Love you, brother.
Love you.